society, academia, and development partners. And some civil society organizations have taken a strong lead in this process. Also, Ghana has formally joined RAMPAO. RAMPAO is a regional body promoting sustainable marine conservation in West Africa, enhancing our access to expertise, partnerships, and strategic support in managing the marine protected area. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past 6 months, the ministry has worked to strengthen a very important aspect of its work in fish health and biosecurity. Between January and June 2025, 32 fish disease mortality cases were investigated and managed. 19 officers were trained in live fish movement protocols. 56 smallholder farmers and officers were trained on biosecurity and climate change. 31 officers received advanced training in fish health. And a community outreach in Elembele district sensitized a number of stakeholders following an EUS outbreak. Next, aquaculture development. We all know, ladies and gentlemen, the capture fisheries in Ghana are declining due to overfishing, climate change, and IUU fishing. While aquaculture presents a viable alternative, it contributed only 17.5% to national fish production in 2024. Currently, as is His Excellency John Dramani Mahame's big vision to expand the aquaculture program in Ghana, we in the ministry have prioritized aquaculture under the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program with a focus on value chain investment from production to marketing. Fisheries enforcement measures. The ministry, through the Fisheries Commission, has intensified enforcement efforts. The ministry's enforcement efforts come under what we call the FEU, the Fisheries Enforcement Unit, which is led by Ghana Navy, Marine Police, and local community-based enforcement committees. We have done 265 quayside inspections out of a target of 159. We exceeded our target. A target of 175 for pre-departure inspections, we actually recorded 210. We have also done 24/7 electronic monitoring on all industrial vessels. We have developed a fisheries risk assessment dashboard, and we have suspended licenses of 4 trawlers for multiple regulatory violations. In fact, yesterday and today, the FEU, led by Navy, have enforced some measures in some of our key fishing ports. In fact, even this dawn, the operations have arrested people who have been dealing illegally in Premix. Establishment of the Blue Economy Commission. In line with the government's manifesto commitment, Cabinet has approved the establishment of an interministerial and intersectoral technical team to develop Ghana's national blue economy strategy. The team, supervised by the Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs, Dr. Valerie Sawyer, and hosted by the Ministry of Environment, has delivered on their task of developing the basis for a national blue economy strategy and recommended for the institutional and legal frameworks required for implementation. This initiative aims to create a unified and well-regulated framework for the sustainable development of Ghana's blue economy. It will ensure marine and aquatic resources are managed responsibly to deliver long-term economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social inclusion. The strategy will pave the way for the formal establishment of a Blue Economy Commission, or whatever the new institution will be called. That will be Ghana's central coordinating body for ocean governance, spanning fisheries, maritime transport, tourism, offshore energy, and marine conservation. Next, management of premix fuel. The ministry is reconstituting landing beach committees nationwide to eliminate inactive and ineffective committees. The new committees will be formed through transparent, community-led processes to enhance local accountability according to the LI that establishes the National Premix Secretariat. At the start of 2025, only one bulk distribution company supplied premix fuel. The ministry has now engaged 5 additional BDCs, resulting in the supply of 14.2 million liters between February and June 2025. This diversification strengthens supply reliability and eliminates bottlenecks. Premix fuel is now delivered directly from Tema Oil Refinery to landing beaches, bypassing intermediaries. This reform ensures equitable access and reduces corruption and diversion. A comprehensive audit of all landing beach committees that existed between 2017 and 2024 is underway. Any financial wrongdoing will be prosecuted. Quarterly financial reporting and independent oversight mechanisms are being introduced to improve transparency. Out of 157 sites, only 31 of the Premix automated centers were operational by the end of 2024. Between March and July 2025, the ministry, through working with the Premix automation centers, have installed 28 additional tanks, commissioned 11 new stations, brought the total operational stations to 42. These stations include real-time monitoring systems, significantly enhancing transparency and delivering efficiencies. Ladies and gentlemen, operationalization of a fisheries college in Anomabo. Following a directive from the President, the ministry has received funding from Ministry of Finance to complete the fisheries college in Anomabo and operationalize it. Processes are underway for contractors to go back to site and work in accordance with the Public Procurement Act. Last but not the least, I'd like to share with you our outlook for the second half of 2025. Looking ahead, the ministry's focus remains steadfast on building a sustainable, inclusive, and competitive fisheries sector. We will fully implement the new Fisheries Act, beginning with stakeholder sensitization and the operationalization of the new Fisheries Commission. Regulatory frameworks and implementation guidelines will be completed by the end of this year. Work is well underway, as I intimated earlier on Ghana's first Blue Economy Strategy, coordinated by an interministerial team endorsed by Cabinet. This will provide a clear institutional and investment framework for sustainable ocean-based growth. We will scale up aquaculture interventions by launching targeted support for women and youth entrepreneurs and expanding infrastructure for hatcheries and feed production. This will reduce import dependency and create jobs. In premix management, our goal is to activate all the automated stations where tanks have been installed. We will also work to complete all the 300 stations that were supposed to have been installed under the agreement. Real-time tracking and digital accountability will remain central to delivery processes. We are also working to enhance enforcement capacity through full EMS coverage of all industrial trawl vessels and strengthen partnerships with traditional authorities to enforce community fishing bylaws. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are on a transformational journey, a journey to reset, one that demands innovation, discipline, and collaboration. The results we have shared today reflect not just the work of government, but also the contributions of fisher folks, community leaders, civil society, our technical officers who are looking right at me now, and our international partners. Together, we will weather the winds, grow stronger, and secure a prosperous and sustainable future for Ghana's fisheries and aquaculture sector. As a ministry, we remain committed to protecting our marine and inland resources, boosting domestic fish production, promoting inclusivity, and securing the livelihoods of our fishing communities. Thank you for your attention and continued support. Wajama bro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that comprehensive briefing. At this stage, the floor is open for questions from members of the media present. So, as is the usual rubric, you can come to my left here at the microphone before you and ask any question that you may have about this presentation or any matter relating to the fisheries and aquaculture sector.
Thank you very much, Minister Abdelhanan Adam, EIB Network. Minister, you mentioned research. I want to find out from you whether you've taken time to study the various reports by ASEP and other independent bodies regarding how much Ghana is losing annually to the Premix fuel sector. Because if you check, the MPA in 2019 says that we lose about $200 million to fuel smuggling. And when you zoom it into the Premix sector, in 2023, up until the first quarter of 2024, Ghana lost or invested about 680 million Ghana cedis to the Premix fuel sector. But much of these resources is lost due to smuggling and those who are engaged in illicit trade of this Premix fuel. Would you recommend, if you go through this reports that I've mentioned, to the President or Cabinet that the Secretariat be scrapped, just as ASEP and other bodies are saying or are calling for the scrapping of the Premix Secretariat? Second question has to do with marine security. In 2019, one Emmanuel ACN went missing on a fishing observation with the Ghana Fisheries Commission. Another person 2 years later also went missing, only to return dead. It's been 6 years, no compensation. The families are calling for justice. And I just want to find out whether you are in the known of this situation, and what would you do to ensure that we have confidence in the marine security sector? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
My name is Shadrach Odami Ejare, Metro TV. Mine has to do with ending illegal fishing. Usually when the conversation comes up and people are arrested, the excuse is they do not know where they are supposed to start and end. That is talking of the nautical miles calculation. So going forward, what is the ministry doing? How are people able to identify that this is 10 nautical miles, this is 12 nautical miles, and I'm not supposed to exceed that? Second one has to do with freshwater fishing. You go to places like all communities around the Volta Lake, for instance, and you would see people encroaching the wetlands, siltation, and then other activities ongoing around. Is the ministry taking charge such that we are going to see the water bodies being desilted and people that are encroaching? What is going to happen? Because this is affecting spawning, I am very sure, and affecting fishing stock or fish stock. Lastly is on marine pollution. You enter these vessels and you don't get to see how they deposit their waste, whether from the kitchen or from the engines, their dirty oils. So how are we also dealing with that? Because that also comes back to affect our fishing stock. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aquaculture Worker Media General. What's the state of the fishing harbour at Jamestown, which in September last year, that's 2024, was commissioned by former head of state Danado Dankwa Akufo-Addo? Have we operationalized it? If not, what are you doing as a minister to operationalize it? Then two, successive ministers have had cause to complain about the influx of Chinese in our waters and then aided by Ghanaians. What differently are you doing to ensure we do not have these Chinese who hide behind Ghanaians who front for them to do the fishing in our waters, and they don't just do it, but they even go to the extent of catching even the fingerlings and others that affect the growth of the fish? Thank you.
My name is Wisdom Hedejeme. I work with TV XYZ. I want to find out, regarding the Anomabo Fisheries College, you said there's funding from the Ministry of Finance. How soon are we seeing the project start, and when are we completing, so that all of these issues can be addressed? And then number two, regarding the support for young people who want to go into fishing in our various communities, how are we going to ensure fair play in this distribution process? Thank you.
All right, the last question for this session.
Good morning, I'm Sarah Pia with CTFM and Channel 1 TV. Honorable Minister, my question has to do with what enforcement mechanisms are currently in place to ensure fishing companies or vessels fined for IEU fishing activities or for violating fishing regulations, especially actually pay these fines, since there are concerns suggesting that some of these companies repeatedly violate these regulations, and also if any improvements have been made so far in covering these fines. My second question is, what steps have so far been taken to recover the 53% Premix fuel profits derived from sales in the previous years? I remember you once made a commitment during your tour with the Norwegian minister at the Temakanu landing site to recover these proceeds, which are meant for developing fishing communities. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, you may answer these questions.
Thank you very much for your questions. The first question was about losses to Premix, due to Premix. I think it's important for us to understand that Premix is an intervention that is necessary for artisanal fishers. Premix is only for the 14,000, I think it's a little over 14,000 artisanal canoe fishers who go to fishing through, the canoes are propelled by outboard motors that use Premix. And at the time when Premix became an intervention, it was necessary, and it still is important. Of course, we have advanced, so there could be different ways of looking at it. But it was important, and it's still important because, as I said earlier on, 60% of Ghanaians depend on fisheries for their animal protein. We have about 3 million Ghanaians along the value chain that depend on fisheries. Now, when you take one canoe, it's owned by one person. But in one canoe, there are about 10 crew members. Those 10 crew members have not less than 10 dependents. So when you see one canoe, think about 10 times 10. That one canoe is taking care of 100 people that are dependent on it. To ensure that the fishery sector runs well, government introduced the subsidized Premix program that should go to fishers to put in their fishing canoes to go fishing and bring fish for Ghanaians to consume, and also for businesses, value addition and what have you. The Premix subsidies then reflects as under recoveries that are paid by government to the BDCs, the bulk distribution companies. But on top of that Premix arrangement is the fact that when the landing beach committees, as have been prescribed by the LI 2233, when they sell the Premix, there's a profit margin on it. The profit margin, 47% is supposed to go to the landing beach committees for various activities. But 53% of that profit goes for community development. In some places, it's been used to build a chips compound. In some places, the 53% profit was used to build a dining hall for the only senior secondary school in that district. In some places, it was used to buy piece of land where a company built a school on it for the community. And my argument is that if you don't use the 53% profit to do all those things, central government will definitely have to do those things. So you are not losing, really. It balances out. The problem of the Premix sector is the illegalities. This morning, a combination of National Security and Premix Secretariat have arrested a hairdresser, a dressmaker or a hairdresser, one of those, somewhere in the Oti region. And all she does is to sell Premix illegally. So when it is supplied, then they go through whatever conduits, she gets her share, and she sells. She's sitting at her hairdressing or dressmaking salon, and she's selling Premix. Those are the problems that we have to address, and that is what we are working at dealing with, hence this particular action. Also, the other thing that we are doing, and I intimated in my speech, is the Premix automation outlets, which then has a tracking system from when it leaves from Tema to the landing beach. And the system is automated. Your canoe is registered to it. You have a card. You use the card to get your Premix fuel. So then all those excesses and all those smuggling probably will stop. The other thing is the tankers that even take the Premix from Tema Oil Refinery to the landing beach committees. Sometimes they arrive and the quantity is short. The landing beach committees raise concerns and they are threatened. If you complain, we won't bring you Premix. But the poor fisherman does not know that the power does not lie with the tanker driver to either bring Premix or not. One of the major things that was going on that we have stopped is the issue of regional Premix coordinator, district Premix coordinator. The Premix leaves Tema Oil Refinery and goes to the landing beach committee. What is the regional Premix coordinator doing? And what is the district Premix coordinator doing? So we have eliminated all those things, but not to say that illegalities have stopped, but we are continuing. We have been asked to reset, so we are resetting. On the issue of scraping National Premix Secretariat altogether, we haven't reached there yet. But I'd like to state that there's currently some work going on by the University of Ghana Business School, and they came to discuss with us at the ministry, and we gave approval. They are doing research to see if the Premix should be sold at the market price, just like any fuel is sold in Ghana, and then the subsidy that was intended to go to the fisherman rather goes to the fisherman directly in cash. So it's a study they are doing. They came to us. We have assigned some landing beach committees for them to test. So we are waiting for the report. Thank you very much. Marine security and missing observer. Yes, we are very concerned about marine security, and so we are still in talks. Navy is responsible for securing our threshold for us. We have some needs in terms of marine patrol boats and what have you. So we are working on that. On the issue of the missing observer, we have met with the family. Unfortunately, when somebody is declared missing, according to Ghana law, we cannot do anything about it until it's been 7 years. 10 years, 7 years, then they can be declared dead. Then whatever it is, we insured them, so we have insurance money and whatever to give to them, but we cannot until 7 years have elapsed. And we'll be meeting with the family. We are actually supporting the wife of the deceased. But we also wanted the vessel that the observer was on, that he vanished, to be liable and bear some of the responsibility. Unfortunately, the business has folded since that incident. We are looking at the observer role again very critically. The reason why we have them on board is to observe the illegalities that go on, but sometimes they themselves also get compromised. But we are in the process of recruiting another set, so we are working on that. Ending illegal fishing by marking IEZ. As I said, we have even now extended the artisanal threshold from 6 nautical miles to 12 nautical miles. And the question principally was, how do you mark, like on the streets, you have road markings to say you do left, you do right, but up there, how do you mark? I don't know if any of my technical members here know exactly how we demarcate the distances up on the sea. I will wait for that to be, the proper information to be provided. Freshwater fishing, encroaching wetlands and desilting of water bodies. Yes, that's an issue for the ministry, but you know that that's why I spoke about the blue economy, because we have to work together. It's intersectoral. Whereas I'm responsible for fish and life underwater, the water itself, the freshwater bodies, comes under somebody's, another ministry's purview. So we are working together. In fact, there's one that a program we are developing now, a nature-based solutions program we are developing now amongst a number of different ministries to address that issue. Marine pollution, yes, that when you go into some of the vessels, the mere conditions on the vessels is unpleasant. That is why in the new law, we have a whole clause on fishers' safety, conditions, and security aboard the vessels. So that is also being reset. Jamestown Fishing Harbour. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting with the Minister of Transport. Cabinet has taken a decision that the two of us, because you see, the ministry is responsible for fish and everything fish, but the Ministry of Transport is responsible for the infrastructure, the harbour, the port, you know what I'm saying? So the two of us are working together to, as soon as possible, operationalize Jamestown Fishing Harbour. There are some issues. There's no water, for example. So there's water work going on now, so that we have water there. And then it's going to be a the vision for Jamestown Fishing Harbour is going to be amazing. Now it straddles, I think now 3 ministries: fisheries, transport, and tourism. So just give us more time, and Jamestown Fishing Harbour will work. Influx of Chinese and aided by Ghanaians. So again, in this new law, we have put in what we are calling beneficial ownership. We want to know who is really behind the thing. And that what happens is that, yes, Ghanaians take the license, but they enter into partnerships with foreign nationals because of the resource needed to actually purchase and own the vessel and run it. What we've been thinking about and talking about is whether we are at a time in Ghana where we as a nation can support Ghanaians to own their own vessel. Then the story might be different. In fact, there's one vessel owner, in terms of the license holder, who has vehemently made the point that even when they want to recruit Ghanaian staff, there's a problem with captain, there's a problem with the crew, properly trained crew. So we are looking into all of those things. Hopefully, when we meet here again mid-term next year, we will have a different story to tell. And please, let's not make it about a particular foreign nationality. There is a number of foreign nationals that are in our fisheries sector. Fisheries College in Anomabo It's done. Action is going. Mr. Ba, am I lying? It's going. By the end of this year, Anomabo will start functioning. The construction work. Look, it's been 13 years since Ghana touched the Fisheries College in Anomabo. We just have to finish it, and we are finishing it. Both the president and the vice president have given me ultimatum. We are finishing it, operationalizing it. We'll start school. We'll go to fishery school. All of you media people should come to fishery school so you understand the sector that has massive potential for economic growth, but we don't really recognize it. And fair play for support to aquaculture. We came to reset, so we will reset. I have in my office requests from different members of parliament who have identified one aquaculture opportunity here and there. We are going to work fairly, openly. Remember, I read out our vision. Equity is what is going to guide the way we work. Enforcement measures in place for IUU to pay fines, etc. Again, part of the enforcement measures was it in April? Yeah, I think it was April, that we suspended the licenses of 4 vessels for 1 year. We are looking into they paying fines as well. Yesterday, when the Navy did their operation at Tema Fishing Harbour, they came across a number of trawlers whose licenses have expired. They've been given ultimatum. They are going to pay and then renew license and also pay fines for the delay. And we are working. In fact, we have one of the centers in Tema that is supporting in this process. Then steps to recover 53%. I have written to all metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives through the Minister for Local Government. We have instructed them all to ensure that those who sold Premix in the past 8 years account for the 53% profit margin that was for the community. It is for the community, so bring it back. There is an audit, Landing Beach Committee audit also going around the country, and that is being pushed as well. In fact, some communities, some districts have already started the accountability process. In one community, the chief fisherman got the information on all premix supplies that went into that particular landing beach area, and then demanded accounts from the landing beach committee members who managed premix sales during that period, demanded the bank account statement, and realized that they took what was in it, but it was not adequate, so they are demanding more. So we are going to do that. We will ensure that every penny that belonged to the community for community development is retrieved. The people who sold the premix, they are there. They haven't vanished. They are still there. They built mansions, so they probably will sell the mansions and bring the money back. But it's in the same vein that we are telling the current landing beach committees that they too will render accounts, quarterly accounts, and maybe we'll take accountability series to the communities, the landing beach committees, when accounts are being rendered so that it is public. And then everybody sees that what is not yours, you don't take. It's for community development. Let's use it for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. So we'll take the last batch of questions, and then we'll be out of here.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Patrick Asford Buedu. I work with Radio Gold. My first question has to do with the fact that we have a lot of governments advocating for the youth to enter into agriculture or venture into the sector. I want to find out from Honorable if there is any special incentives or benefits, and what are the opportunities also for the youth. The second one has to do with the, the closed season. Initially, critics say that it has no benefit or economic benefit. I just want to find out, since the policy kicked in, what has been the economic benefit that the nation has raked in so far? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Romeo Tete. I work with Ahonto FM. My first question has to do with climate change and the fishery sector. So, Honorable, please, how is climate change affecting Ghana's marine ecosystems and fisheries? And secondly, on the close season, has the ministry conducted an impact assessment of previous close seasons on fish stock recovery? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Kwame Asante. I work with Tonia TV. Honorable, still on Anomabo Fisheries College, you made mention of the ministries receiving a fund from the Ministry of Finance for its completion. I don't know if you can share with us how much it's going to cost us as a nation to complete it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Minister, thank you. My name is Kwame, and I work with Adom FM and Adom TV. I want to find out from the minister, what is the status of post-harvest losses in the fisheries sector? And then also, the John Mahama government, completed some coastal facilities across some key fishing constituencies in the country. What do you have on your table concerning these coastal facilities? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In the absence of any further questions, the minister will answer these and then we will close. Thank you very much.
Thank you for another set of brilliant questions. Some of the questions are like PhD thesis questions. It's like I've come for my Viva. Youth in aquaculture. I'd like to state that the aquaculture subsector has tremendous potential and benefits, but it is not an easy place. One of the major concerns in the aquaculture sector is feed, fish feed. We are exploring other alternatives. There are many opportunities. If you take my constituency, by the way, I'm the member of parliament for Shama, Esma Fumichia Honanape. My constituency, Shama constituency, has been a place for exploiting natural resources, so clay mining, quarry mining, and what have you, which have left huge holes that over time have collected water and become like river bodies by themselves. Experts have checked and they are saying that it is possible for aquaculture. So then what do? Do we build gangs of cooperatives, young people, cooperatives, and we support them to go into that business? But we must be careful to not give one-off support and then they are in trouble because they cannot find money to buy feed or the feed is not available. So we are, if you know us, in the Ministry of Fisheries, we take our time, we cross our T's, we dot our I's before we launch out. So that's what we are doing now. So maybe in 6 months' time, I can better answer this question. Close season. Close season is just one of the many management measures in the fishery sector. Close season should, if implemented well, should have more than one objective, at least 3 objectives: conservation, economic, and social. So in a situation where the implementation of that management measure does not yield all 3 objectives, but costs affects 1 or 2 or 2 against 1, then we have a problem. Definitely, in principle, close season has many benefits, including economic. As I said to you, I have had meetings with the scientific community, with the civil society actors, and all of them. And we in the ministry came to the conclusion that we're diversifying this time, we're modifying this time close season, especially for artisanal fishers, because the work points to the fact that during this 1 month July close season, poverty is palpable. You can actually see and touch poverty in the fishing communities. And the national intervention does not really reach the fishermen in terms of the rice and oil and tomato that we send to the fishermen because it is a close season. It does not really reach them. And actually, how much rice and oil and tomato can you send to all the 14,000 canoes that has 14,000 times 100, if you like, fishermen that can take care of them for 1 month? And so what happens is that, let me backtrack. But as you are doing this, you are also not putting enforcement in place. You are not enforcing and ensuring compliance to the Ghana laws in terms of dealing with illegalities at sea, illegal fishing methods. So they are hungry for 1 month. The 1 month after when you open the sea, they go with such force and implement all their illegalities with force that your 1 month benefit is destroyed within 1 week. So that is why we adopted this approach of, yes, as for the trawlers, there's industrial and semi-industrial. 2 months for industrial, come home. You've shown the bottom of the sea enough. Come home. You yourself come and rest. Epunankasa no kra nyankopon no bone pono kra no odeda kroto wode epuno onjena ho. How about ehena yekopono do? Into jewan home. So the artisanal canoe fishers, we engaged them and said, 2 conditions. 1, go back and observe the traditional management measure. Manananum what's no traditional management. Ananum paying for a water ase when you most may porty. So they came out with 1 day no fishing. In most places it's Tuesday. Enforce it. Just comply. And that one is not for government to enforce because it's a traditional arrangement. So the chief fisherman who forms part of the traditional leadership structure is responsible for enforcing. But because we don't respect leadership anymore in this country, they've lost their authority. That's why we worked with the Ministry of Local Government and through MMDCs, work with chief fishermen to come out with bylaws in the district assembly, making the Tuesday traditional management measure compulsory by law, by force. In fact, the traditional measures is so important that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, has appointed a presidential aide as an advisor to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture on indigenous knowledge and traditional practices. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Manoma, also known as John Quayson, Nibrofudini John Quayson, Bobianyim Nas Manoma, or your presidential aide, Wohunwaha, one respect. Osansu, a veteran fisherman, Onyime Punejuman Pa. Post-harvest losses. I will invite my post-harvest losses, madam, to come and answer this question after I have dealt with Anomabo Fisheries College. Currently, and it does not even address all the problems because some of the infrastructure, of course, left over that long period is destroyed. The vision we have for Anomabo, now, because of, you all know, our fiscal situation in terms of economy, we have received 80 million Ghana cedis to finish and make it operationalized. But it does not begin to deal with the vision, the full vision of the Fisheries College that we want to see. When you go to other countries, Morocco, hey, we are capable of doing same and having even better. So we'll do it. But for now, so that we can finish the principal's accommodation, the teacher's accommodation, operationalize a canteen, get the items in, finish